Hey everyone, I just wanted to apologize. I know the last day of April when I went to go see my mom in the hospital after she was transferred to the trauma center, I had promised that update, and well, it was a hard night, so I went home and I actually ended up modding for my husband, and then I went to bed, so I am catching up. I'm going to be posting some videos catching up on updates, and then I'll be going live here. I'm not sure if I do it later on after I leave the hospital or how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to be going live just to do a quick recap on everything that I'm going to be posting, so bear with me. I want to first of all thank you all for being so amazing and supportive and kind to me. It's one of those moments where, you know, you find love and support in places that you never expect to. You don't find it from people that you know in real life that, you know, you've known for 20 years or better, but a group of perfect strangers on the internet have literally been the rock and the glue that I need to help me stay in peace and one piece. So I walk into the hospital, and this is the last day of April, and I immediately get a phone call from my dad, and he's like, "Don't come up, it's not good." I said, "I'll be right there." All I had to do was finish checking in. You know, you give the desk your ID, and they take your picture, and you put on your shirt the sticker. I get up there to her room, and well, I must have cussed out everybody and their mother in that hospital. I walk into my mom's room, and she's crying and she's scared, and they have her in restraints. They tied her down to her hospital bed. She had been in surgery. It was over 2 hours. It was a much harder surgery, more advanced. There was a lot to do. It was a horrible break. From like right under her original break, it was a spiral break, so the whole bone, it was just all messed up. They put rods, they put screws, they put plates, bolts, you name it. It's horrible. They had to put a plate overlapping her original plate from her first time she broke her femur a couple years back, because the way it broke and how fragile her bones are, they had to support the original hardware. So it's about 5 inches that overlaps the original plate. Then it goes all the way down to her knee. I actually have pictures of it, I'll post. She has 4 screws and bolts right above her kneecap, so she's still able to bend her her left knee. She's still able to bend it and to move it when she gets that range of motion back. They told her she has probably about a month, maybe a little bit longer, before she can put any weight. She's absolutely no weight bearing on her left leg, and then they're gonna test it out. So she originally came out of surgery, and they had an oxygen mask on her. My mom and I both have hard times coming out of anesthesia. She's never reacted this way though before, so it was kind of scary, especially for my dad. He didn't know what to do, so he was just doing what they told him to do and listening to them and not my mom. So she got ripping off the mask because it was scaring her. It was just, I don't know, it was just not expected. So that was one reason that they put the restraints on her. Another reason, she kept saying, I want to see it, and she kept trying to lift the bandage, the gauze. Well, there's a strip of bandage that goes across the entire incision. Then they wrap it in gauze, and then they wrap the gauze over with like an ace bandage. she was trying to peek at it. So she got out of surgery at 3:30 in the afternoon, and I arrived at 5. I believe it was 5 when I ended. I just got done getting my my security, passing security, getting my sticker. It was 5 o'clock when my dad called. So from 3:30 to 5, when I walked up into that room, she was in restraints, all because she was scared, because they had an oxygen mask on her, and because she wanted to check her wound. I mean, who doesn't do that? How many of you have actually come out of surgery and tried to see, just peek, lift the stuff and peek? Okay, well, I walked in, I saw her, and she's scared. She's like, I think they're trying to kill me. That was hard. That was really hard to see. My mom, who a day prior to this accident looked amazing. She had her makeup on, she had her clothes on, her hair done. She looked so good. They were going to a diner. They weren't going anywhere special, but and so they do it when they're the older women. They still want to look good and whatever. And she's born at a time where June Cleaver was everybody's idol. Not mine, but everybody else's. So I walked in, and the LPN followed me right in because she heard me cussing up and down everybody. I walked all the way down that hallway cussing up a storm. I walk in, I held my mom's hands, and I'm like, what's the matter? She's like, they're trying to kill me. I'm like, shh, stop that. I'm like, you can't say that. What is the matter? She looks at me and she's like, Noelle, I don't know what's going on. She's like, nobody's going to listen. No one's listening to me. No one's going to try to listen to me. They don't want to try to talk to me. They're mean to me. They're nasty. She's like, look at me. They tie me up. I'm like, listen, I'm taking your restraints off. At this point, the LPN had already been walked in the room. She followed me. And she's like, you can't take the restraints off. I just kind of looked up at her. Said, I'm taking these fucking restraints off of my mother. I'm going to give her a hug. And I'm going to sit here. And there's not a fucking thing you can do about it. Understand? And she's like, okay, what's she gonna do? She can't say shit to me. She wasn't gonna. I'd lay her ass out right then and there if she said fucking boo. So, I took the restraints off. I walked her on the bed. I sat next to her left leg, which is the leg that the surgery. But there was plenty of room, and I didn't really touch it. I leaned over and I hugged her. My mom starts talking again in my ear about, at this point, she hasn't had her Parkinson's medicine. And so her language is very jumbled up. It's very quick. She's like, oh my God, everything, like fits and spills into the next word. So it's hard to decipher what she's saying. Well, if she had her medicine, it wouldn't be that way. I'm like, okay. I'm like, listen, relax. At this time, the RN walks in because the LPN walked out, and she ratted on me, fucking snitch. And so the RN comes in with a look on her face. And I just looked at her, and I just looked back at my mom like, listen, you and I are going to talk. We're going to talk in private when these people are out of this room, you understand? She's like, yeah. I looked at her, the RN, and I looked at the LPN. I'm like, okay, so my mom's going to tell me her side of this when you guys are out of here. Because it's none of your business what my mom and I talk about. I said, but I want to hear your side. I said, because the only way I can hear the entire story is to hear both sides. So, go ahead. What happened? Why is my mother in restraints? Well, she came out of surgery, was reacting negatively to the anesthesia. I said, yeah, no shit. I said, a lot of people do. I said, I do as well. I have a very hard time coming out of anesthesia. And said, I have hot and cold sweats. I shake. I'm crying. I'm throwing up. I'm in pain. I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm like, yeah, I have a hard time too. I said, I'm assuming that my mom and I are not the only ones that have hard times coming out of anesthesia. I said, so continue. Carry on. What else? What else happened? Okay, she wanted her oxygen mask off. I said, did you ever think that maybe if you took the fucking mask off her face and put a nasal cannula in, that might have prevented her from trying to rip it off her face because of her anxiety and her fear and how she's feeling right now at that moment? Silence. I was like, all right, next. I want your next thing. What happened next? And my mom's fucking tied to a goddamn bed. And they said, she was ripping her Band-Aids off. Okay. Mom, you ripping your Band-Aids off? She's like, no, I just wanted to see it. I said, okay, I'll show you. I said, I need you to stay still, okay? Keep your hands down. I said, there's going to be a Band-Aid over it, a big Band-Aid gauze stuck to it. I'm going to lift the first 2 layers and take a picture, and I'm going to show you it as much as I can see. She's like, okay. You see a strip that covers the incision, and then right next to it, you see a little line, just like maybe that much. I'll post a picture so you can see it. And she's like, okay. She's like, that's what it looks like. I said, yeah, Mom, but you're not going to be able to see it. It's very big. I said, when we can see more of it, you know, we will. Maybe when they change your dressing or something, you can see more of it. She's like, okay. And I looked up at the nurse. I'm like, what's your next reason for tying my mom up? Well, she got very hostile. Hostile as in what? Was she hitting you? No. Throwing things at you? Mm-mm. Hostile as in what? Her language. Oh. Yeah, me and my mom cussed you out. You fucking big ass bitch. Crying ass baby. Tie a fucking 81-year-old woman who's scared to death down, has anxiety, wanted to have her oxygen mask taken off when you could have just put a nasal cannula in. Problem solved. A little peek at what I just showed her. You couldn't do that. Problem would have been solved. And I looked at her. I'm like, what's the face for? I said, what the fuck is your problem? She's like, well, my problem is you took my restraints off. I said, yeah, I did. I took the restraints off, and I am not going to be leaving here until whenever the fuck I decide to leave. I said, and as long as I'm here, those restraints will not be on her. And if I walk in here tomorrow morning and those restraints are back on her, or if I find out at any time after I leave, until the time I show up again that she was tied down again, I will be going to the Patient's Advocacy Office. I said, that's right. We have advocates. I did tell one itty-bitty lie. I'm not now, but I was an LPN for many years. Many years. Well, I said, well, I'm a nurse. I'm an LPN, I have been, and I work in another hospital in a different state. It's the truth. When I did work in hospitals and stuff, it was in a different state, so that wasn't really a lie. The only thing I lied about was that I was an actively working LPN, but who fucking cares? Yeah, show them that you know what you're talking about sometimes. And when you're in a hospital dealing with people that they think they know better than everything, you know what? Fuck you, bitch. Yeah, I'm still working. So, whatever. I said, let me guess. You didn't take the time to show her Band-Aid, lift her Band-Aid and show her wound. You didn't take the time to put the nasal cannula on. Instead of talking to her, holding her hands, calming her down, like I am, like, you just tied her the fuck up. From 3:30 to 5, you tied her up. This whole time, you could have de-escalated the situation, but instead you made it worse. I said, listen, it's not that my mom was hostile. It's not that my mom was a threat or going to hurt herself. She wasn't doing any of that. I said, you're understaffed and you're way over fucking filled. I'm sure you have people inside of triage in the hallway waiting for rooms. So instead of taking care of my mom the way she needs to be taken care of, you tied her up like a fucking animal, and you pretty much abused her. That for all that time, she has been under abuse by you and your facility. This time the doctor walked in, and he's overhearing everything, and then he tries to interject, and I looked at him like, all right, well, what's your side? Like, because everybody else has a side, and it's all bullshit. What do you got to say? Well, he was very nice man. Talked to me, said whatever. And I'm like, well, as I told them, there's advocates for this. If I have to stop at the Patient's Advocacy Office on my way in and on my way out every day, I will. So how's this going to work, guys? Nothing. Nurses got pissed off and walked out. Yeah, go suck a dick, bitch. Doctor was fine with me, told me it's fine. And I expressed my grievances with him, and that was that. So, this is my first update that I should have done days ago, and I apologize that I didn't, but she wouldn't pee. My mom did not want to pee. So instead of using a traditional catheter, they should have cathetered her because she can't get out of bed. They gave her this fucking big blue thing. It's, I want to say about 5 inches long-ish. And they stick it in your, area. It sucks like a straw. So when you pee on this little thing. It's like about, I guess about that. Yeah, it's about that round, that thick, and then it has a white thing, a white strip that it sucks all the urine when you're going to the bathroom, and it sucks it through this tube and into the container, just like a traditional cath, but just not. Clearly, it doesn't suck up all your urine. My mom didn't want to pee in that. She didn't want to pee in bed. Well, she has to pee. And she's not going to do it because she doesn't want to pee her bed. That's just my mom. So the doctor says, well, we can't do it. I'm like, well, all right, you're going to have to do something. So I looked at my mom, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, listen, all right, fine. I said, I'm going to shut this door because I've heard your staff's side. I've yet to hear my mom's side. And I will talk with her about going to the bathroom. Okay. My mom's like, I have to pee so bad. I have to pee so bad. I have to pee so bad. I said, okay, Mom, relax. 1 minute, Mom. 1 minute. 1 minute. So he walks out. I shut the door. I pull the curtain because my dad, my mom was in the bed. My dad, my husband, and my son were at the door listening and seeing everything that was going on. And so pull the curtain. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna take this straw thing that they want you to piss on out. I said, it's an external catheter. I don't like it. I hate them. I think they're stupid, but we're gonna move this. So I dumped out a cup. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna help you. It's gonna hurt, but I'm gonna help you. Okay. She's like, whatever you say. I said, I'm gonna lower your legs, so push the button. So you know how they have your legs on an incline. I lowered it to flatten them. And I said, all right, listen, I'm gonna help you with this cup. You're gonna pee in it. As you're peeing in it, I'm gonna stick this thing in it so it sucks your urine. And because they have to measure your output, if they're not gonna let you leave the hospital if you're not pooping and if you're not peeing, and you have to have enough output because they count, that everything is measured. Anybody that works in the medical field knows. They know everything. If they give you a cup of water, they know the size. If it's 250 cc's of water or apple juice in any of the cups, they know everything. They know exactly what that you're putting into your body. So they want comparable numbers. So she's peeing in the cup. I stuck the thing in it, and I'm like, look, Mom, look, you see, it's sucking up into the tube, and it's going to that cup. I'll show you in a minute. So after she did, I went over and I lifted up the container. And I'm like, okay, your output it was about 250 cc's, 300-ish, just shy of 3. So when they came back in, they're like, oh, good, you peed. I said, yeah, she did pee. Maybe if she wasn't tied to the bed and being yelled at and, abused, and she felt safe and comfortable, she might have peed for you too. It's amazing, It's amazing they think they're doing such a great, wonderful job. It's an amazing service that they're providing for us. Well, yeah, it would be if they all had their heart in it, but they don't. And yeah, maybe it's because it was my mom that I was a little bit so extra upset and pissed off. But at the end of the day, where's your heart? Where's your heart? What are you doing? Just because you're overstaffed and overbooked doesn't mean that you don't take the time. I don't give a fuck if you're on your second straight fucking shift. I know nurses' shifts. I've worked 3 shifts straight in a row with maybe like 30 minutes of nap time. Yeah, it's not fun. It's exhausting. It's hard work. And there is never enough people there. You might have 8 people supposed to be in your one wing, and there may only end up being 3. Suck it the fuck up. This is the profession you chose to be in. So they weren't happy with me, and I didn't give a fuck. So after she peed in the cup, and I had the external cath suck it up, I'm like, I have to put this back where it belongs because they're gonna know. They're gonna know. I said, so we're putting it back. I said, I am going to just move you a little bit, get it back in there. She was fine with it. Then I pulled the curtain. I opened the door. After my mom told me everything that she had to say. The doctor came back in, and they're like, oh, you peed, so excellent. I'm like, fucking idiots. These fucking idiots. They're threatening to straight catheter and all this other stuff, and all they had to do was listen. Just listen. So when the nurse came in, the LPN and the RN came back in, and they saw that she peed too because the doctor said it. I was like, where's her medicine? I said, my dad told me he brought it this morning. Where is it? Well, I haven't had a chance to run it to pharmacy yet. I said, no. Why? Because if your mother had been acting, I said, what? Acting what? And she said nothing. She said, if I didn't have to tend to your mother this whole time and continue babysitting. I'm like, dude, you gotta stop. No, I said, you're not winning right now. You're really not winning. I said, you're really close to fucking losing. And you're really close to me going and throwing a fucking holy fit to every manager. Where's your charge nurse? Where's this? Where's that? She's like, I had to tend to your mother, so I wasn't able to bring the medicine to the pharmacy. We don't carry this medicine here. So I looked at her and the doctor. I'm like, I said, you realize she needs this medicine, right? You realize it's that Parkinson's, it's a neurological disease, right? You hear her voice. You hear how she talks. I said, you see how she's acting to you guys because you're scaring her? I said, you realize the faster you give her medicine, the faster this is over. It all goes away. It gets better. I looked at the nurse and I'm like, why don't you run along and get my mother her fucking medicine? And the doctor just kind of smirked. I think I made him nervous. I don't know. But fuck that. I don't care. It's my mom. Don't fuck with my mom. So that is how it is. That's pretty much my update for the last day of April, her first day in the trauma hospital. I'll do another update via video today on day 2, and I will catch up on yesterday, which was another hard day for me, hearing a lot of the things that I had to hear, but yeah, I'll update everything, and then we'll do a recap, I guess, live. I'm not sure when, but we'll do it in like a day or two, okay? I'm gonna try and get all the updates out between today and tomorrow so that we're caught up, and then we'll do a recap tomorrow. I think that might be how I do it, okay? Please bear with me. Have patience. I appreciate each and every one of you for your amazing, kind, loving words, your support, your everything. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Thank you all so much. And I love you guys all so much. Have a great day. Off to see my mommy now.